Okay, so for the past about hour or so, you've been working on the unit that you brought with you, identifying those standards that you teach in that unit, and then deconstructing those standards into learning targets. Any questions, wonderings, or ahas that you had as you work through this process? Yes, ma'am.
As we got rolling on it, we realized it was easier than we thought when we got through a whole unit, which was our quarter one.
Okay.
On the standards, and we didn't quite get to the depths of knowledge and stuff like that, but just identifying the standards we were going to fit in the unit.
All right, so it was a little easier than you thought. That's a good thing. Any other questions, wonderings, or ahas? So I'm going to take the next few steps and put them together for you. So we have steps 4 and 5. Step 4, some of you have already started doing, which is okay. You started moving forward in the process. It is blueprinting your current assessment. So that means taking the assessment that you currently have to go with that unit, because I know you're updating your assessments right now, and going question by question and saying, well, this is learning target. This question 1 goes with learning target 1. It's a constructed response, and it's a level 2 with depth of knowledge. Question 2 also addresses learning target 1, so I'm going to have to list learning target 1 again, because this time it's a selected response. So it's going by question to identify which learning target does this question address. Now, if you go through your assessment and it's not addressing a learning target you have listed, go ahead and make a note of that so that you can see that, oh, okay, I didn't have this learning target listed, but let me go ahead and put down what type of question it is, what depth of knowledge it is, so that I know that that's in there. Because the next part you're going to do once you get that blueprinted out is you're going to analyze your blueprint. There were several comments, especially early on, that some of your assessments were way too long. Or some of your assessments had all selected response. So as you analyze your blueprint, these are some questions that you could key in onto to say, what does this look like in relationship to this assessment? So do you have enough questions? So for the learning targets that you have listed, do you have questions for all of them? Or are there some learning targets that you didn't address in that assessment? Do you have questions for the correct learning targets? Did you address something in your assessment that you don't have a target for? Do the questions match the appropriate depths of knowledge with that learning target? So are you asking for a performance task on something that is recall? Is there anything missing? Do you need to add questions? Do any of the learning targets need to be redetermined? So if you assessed on a learning target that was not on your list, is that something you need to add, or is it something that is assessed somewhere else? Some other considerations that we talked about in the second session is remember that at least 3 items per target for reliability, 3 to 5. Make sure that you have the appropriate distribution of items over targets. Make sure that your depths of knowledge are appropriate, and that not all of your items are at the highest or the lowest levels of complexity. But keep in mind, as we showed with the math, with Allison's example, some of those items are going to be that lowest level. Just making sure that everything matches those learning targets. So as you go through and map out your item types and your depths of knowledge for your current assessment, you're going to go ahead and start asking questions. And I've heard some of those in the conversations that you're having already, asking those questions. But I'm going to leave those up there to you just as a reminder, just as, a cue of what you should be looking for. Okay, Mark and Allison, anything else to add? Seeing a no? Anything? All right, so we're going to give you into lunch. Do we know what time lunch is? We're thinking probably 11:30. We'll check on that for you and give you an update. So about 55 minutes, we'll check back in with you and go ahead and begin this next step of actually mapping out your current assessment, which learning targets they align to, and then start analyzing what you have to determine if you need more items. Because if you need items, or you're not sure if the items you have are appropriate, that's what Mark's going to do this afternoon. He's going to help you determine and jury those items to see if they're what you need. All right, we'll check back in with you in about 55 minutes.